I can reveal that it's official that January 2019 is in fact the most viewed month I've ever had on this channel. Just a little short of 3.5 million views. And for a modestly sized channel like mine, I am so grateful. I really couldn't have done it without you. If you hadn't have stepped up to the plate, if you hadn't have given me this opportunity, I would be nowhere, I would be nothing. And I can't thank you enough. Activision, EA and Bethesda, you guys, if you hadn't continued to have messed up time after time, if you'd only done the right thing and actually thought of the gamer or maybe apologise for all your mistakes, then we wouldn't be in this situation. But I just cannot believe the way that you always decide to make the wrong move. And I am so grateful for that, because the content that you've given me is unbelievable. I love you. Well, I mean, I don't. I despise you. But I love you. Thank you. Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. So what was that? Oh, go on. Thank you to you as well. No, seriously, thank you so much indeed, everyone who's been watching my videos recently. The last 3 months have actually been the best 3 months I've ever had on YouTube in terms of people coming in, watching the videos, view time, etc. So I can't thank you enough for all the support. Hope you've enjoyed it. I think you have. Well, most of you have. Some of you are, but you know, that's just the internet. I still loves you. But with that said, I think we've got to talk about the title, hey? And also the thumbnail, if you saw the thumbnail too. So, if you've come to this video with any preconceptions, I would probably put them to one side. My channel is about brutal honesty, because I like to give the person who's watching it credit. You know, I'm not trying to suck up to anyone. I'm not trying to say, hey, Anthem fans, I'm going to mollycoddle things in the hope that you watch my video, give it a thumb up. No, I give you credit that you can accept and understand some truths. And if you can't, you know, okay, fair enough, that's not my issue. But as a gamer, we spend a lot of money on these things, and I think it's only fair that we're just honest with each other as regards to where our monies should go. Does the title mean that Anthem is a bad game? No, it doesn't mean that at all. I'm going to go through all of the good and the bad. But yes, I don't think this game is ready for release. So let's get stuck into it. The open demo has been going on now for the last couple of days. I've been hammering it, and I've probably put in about 10 to 12 hours in the last couple of days, trying to go through various things, testing out javelins, doing the open world, doing, you know, whatever story. It wasn't much of a story, but the story that they gave us. And also, when I did the alpha test, I probably notched up about 4 or 5, about 4 hours, let's say, in the alpha. So all in all, I probably put in around about 15 hours worth of Anthem gameplay so far. One a alpha test, one a demo. And it's very important, that word demo, because demo is saying our game's finished. Here is a demonstration of what it's going to be like. Now, from what I'm aware, this open demo is actually from a 6-week-old build. So some of the stuff that I'm going to go into may be part of that build, but it may not. And if it's not, then my title remains, I think, very valid indeed. So let's just get into the things that I liked, first of all. I think Anthem is one of the best looking games I've seen. It truly is. It's quite breathtaking to see it in all its glory. I was playing it on the PC with a pad, but I was playing it on the PC nonetheless, and I had the graphics turned up, and it looked absolutely beautiful. Really did look beautiful. The world is just gorgeous. The lighting is excellent. The environmental details are superb. The animations of the creatures are pretty good. Some can get a little bit, but pretty good for the most part. But yeah, it's seems to be a lot going on. You know, it's very dense. Not a lot of like empty areas at all, and you know, water effects look great. So everything looks beautiful. This is a beautiful looking world, and I think that does need to be said because you know the designers of it have put a lot of work into it, and it's only fair that they do get the credit that they are due. In terms of gameplay with the javelin, it could be a little bit difficult to get used to it at the start. And because the javelin does tend to wave a little bit, if you're flying through narrow corridors or near mountainsides, stuff like that, if your javelin hits anything, it takes you out of flight mode and just immediately plummets you to the ground. And that can get very frustrating. But with a few hours of just getting used to the flying mechanics, getting used to how quickly you can turn, how you can dodge in the air, and all this stuff, you do become way more proficient. And so the frustrations of constantly ramming into the wall and falling down to the ground do dissipate rather quickly. So I'm not going to rip it apart for anything like that. It's just getting used to the controls as you would with anything that's new. So, gameplay-wise, shooting, pretty decent. The shooting mechanics are pretty decent, indeed. I think there's a lot of cool things that you can do in terms of dodging, in terms of maneuvering your javelin around the place, both on the ground and in the air, trying to utilize line of sight to your benefit, stuff like that. So the shooting mechanics, again, for the most part, I think are pretty decent. And I did test out different javelins. I do think there is some differences in terms of power between them. And I don't know if that's just because of scaling or what. But yeah, I think some javelins were a lot more powerful than others. But yeah, they were fun to test out. And I did feel as if they had their own unique personality. So each javelin did have their own take, so you didn't just feel like with Destiny, for example, and if you're a Destiny player, just hear me out here before you jump down my throat. With Destiny, yes, your Hunter, your Warlock, and your Titan have different abilities, but for the most part, it just feels like you're doing the same thing. You know, you just got a gun in your hand and you're just doing the same thing. With the javelins, because the natures of the classes, they can have different things equipped, and it does make them feel just a little bit different. Okay, so I'm not knocking Destiny in terms of that. I'm just saying, with the javelins, it does feel as if they have their own unique personalities. So fighting mobs turned out to be pretty good experience, utilising the weapons, trying to come up with some tactics as well, because if you just go gung-ho all the time, you're probably going to get smashed rather a lot. So you do have to use a little bit of the grey matter. I thoroughly enjoyed doing the story missions. Not necessarily enjoyed the story, but I thoroughly enjoyed doing the story missions, and I think it does benefit from grouping you up with other people. This is a game, now there's a cliche that games are great. Everything's better when you play together. Well, you know, maybe not Auschwitz. But, you know, not in a Fallout 76 way. We heard this a lot. Oh, but it's better with friends. Oh, it's so much better for... No, it's still a dumpster fire. Anthem isn't a dumpster fire by any stretch of the imagination, but it actually truly is better, I feel, when you're in a party as opposed to solo. Because of the different mech types that you can have and the different builds that you can have for the mechs, it does feel as if you're working in a very cohesive squad to take stuff down, and it's nice to have the pressure taken off you if you need to regenerate your shields or something, you know, something along those kind of lines. So I did enjoy the story missions. I did enjoy doing the little puzzle that they gave you. You did, again, have to think a wee bit about it. So there is stuff to be had here. I think Anthem, there is a good game to be had, but it's not ready to come out yet. You see, for all those little nice things about Anthem, for all those things that it did right, Anthem has a massive, massive problem. It's not polished, and it's buggy as hell. And when your game is 2 weeks away from early access launch and 3 weeks away from full launch, that ain't gonna cut it. Because these bugs seem very dangerous. We're talking Fallout 76 level of dangerous. So let me go into a couple of things. First of all, there wasn't any disconnections that I personally got. And from what I could gather, for the most part, it looks like they got rid of the disconnection bug. Great. Did I get the infinity loading screen? No. I did once in my 10-12 hours of this open demo. I did once get locked into a loading screen for about 5 minutes, which I managed to record the arse end of. Yeah, I was stuck in that for about 5 minutes, but that was it in terms of loading screens. Otherwise, everything seemed to load in fine. I always got past the title screen, no problem. So that seemed to be got rid of. And there were a few bugs here and there in terms of the game just seemed to freeze. You seem to have a bit of screen freeze for a second. And there were occasions where your character just seemed to be unresponsive for no reason. But these were few and far between. I probably had about 3 or 4 screen freezes in, again, 10 to 12 hours. And the character locked up, I think, 2 or 3 times in that 10 to 12 hours. So yeah, I don't want them, but they did seem minor. The game has, or seems to have, 2 major reoccurring bugs, which are going to drive people crazy. Particularly the second one, which we'll go into. First one, mobs keep vanishing. You get near to mobs, you try and engage, boof, they just vanish into thin air. And this happened all the time. It wasn't something that happened once in a while, once every hour. This was something which happened about once every 10 to 15 minutes. You'd approach a group of mobs, you'd just engage them, boof, vanished. Or you'd be fighting some mobs and they'd just, boof, vanish. The vanishing mobs is really, really annoying. Really annoying. The first couple of times, you're kind of like, oh, and then, oh. But when it's done it for the 20th time in a row, you're really starting to lose patience. And I don't know exactly when. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it was about 6 or 7 hours in to my open beta testing. Tried to engage a group of mobs. I've probably got some examples going on screen right now, actually. I tried to engage a group of mobs, and it just vanished. And I just pulled a padding at my desk. I was like, it was like Chinese torture. It just eventually got to me. The dripping of the vanishing mobs, it just eventually got to me, and I just flipped my lid. So if that remains in the game at launch, you're gonna get hammered with people going nuts. But nowhere near what you're gonna get hammered if the second bug, this second major bug, and bearing in mind, I'm only dealing with what I think are the major bugs, not the minor ones. If this stays in, this game is done. What was the problem? Okay, so when I was doing the outside world, the free roam, where you can just go out into the open world and explore. Now, yeah, it was the demo and we had a limited space, so I'm not going to criticize anything like the limited world events that spawned, because obviously if you had access to other areas, there could be more to do. There could potentially be more to do. So I'm not going to criticize any of that. No, what happens is you're doing your open world, you're finding mobs, engaging in combat. You're doing these little events which spawn every now and again. And yes, by the way, this is where I thought, oh my God, this game is Destiny. This feels exactly like Destiny's open world. No, what happened is when I went into my first session, I probably stayed out for about 2 hours. And the way that this game operates is really dumb. Because it seems, when you kill a mob, instead of just giving you the experience, it seems to give you it in lieu. Now, some of you may say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, it says, you've got this experience, And we're going to kind of put it onto your bar, but you don't get it properly until you leave and go back to the hub. And it does the same with gear. You find gear, it doesn't kind of go into an inventory per se. It says, right, you found some stuff, you don't know what it is yet, we'll identify it when you leave this area. So you do get experience and you can level up while you're in the actual place itself, but it doesn't stick, seemingly, unless you leave the area. So what was the problem? It wouldn't let me leave. It 3 times when I was out in the open world, 3 times, I was like, okay, I've been out for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, I'm coming back in. I'm going to see what gear I've got. I'm going to lock in this experience. Leave. Leave. No. Leave. No. Leave. No. Couldn't leave. Bugged. It wouldn't let you leave. So I looked online. Can't leave. Open world. What do I do? Anthem. You got to quit out the game. So quit out the game and lost everything. Lost the experience. Lost the gear. So I looked on, any fix for this. And people said, right, when you log out, log back in, go back into the open world, and then immediately quit out. And that should give you your experience and gear that you lost by having to quit out. So I was like, okay. Annoying, but okay. Log back in, opened up another open world, logged out immediately, not logged out, but, left immediately. It gave me some gear, no experience, all gone. Although it said it gave me experience, no. I'd leveled from level 13 into level 14, and I was right back to the beginning of level 13. And it did this 3 times. 3 times I lost gear. I lost some gear. Some it gave me, but clearly I'd lost some. But 3 times I leveled to level 14 and lost it all because I couldn't leave. And so I had to do it all again. And if this bug remains in the game, people are going to crucify BioWare and EA. But mainly BioWare because they are the creators of this game. They're going to crucify them. Can you imagine going out like I did, being out for 3 hours or so, and then trying to leave and you can't, and so you're forced to close down the game and you lose all of your experience. 3 hours worth of experience. Why does it just not put it on automatically and save it? I don't understand. I don't understand what this whole thing is that you need to go into the outside world and then leave to have it locked in. It seems so dumb. Same with your gear. Your gear should be locked in. Okay, if it fails, if there's a bug that means you can't log out, fine, but at least you got that gear there. So when you log back in and it's hopefully fixed, then it'll identify it. But the potential to lose your gear and lose your experience, oy, 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 oy. That again, 3 times. 3 times. And the only reason why I'm not getting really wound up about this, I am excitable. But the only reason why I'm not really going mad about this is because it's a demo and it doesn't matter because I wouldn't get to keep the gear anyway and it's not genuine progression on this character. But if I had bought Anthem and then this happened, I would be so annoyed. I'd be annoyed at once, never mind twice, but this was thrice. And if that bug stays in the game, you're going to get hammered by people. So it just feels as if this game is near ready, but this game needs another 2 or 3 months to get these things ironed out. Because they can't be there at launch. They can't be there at launch. It's just going to be a disaster. We saw what happened with Fallout 76 when word of mouth spread. that did have an effect on sales. That Break It beta that they had a huge effect on sales. These things, if it's a demo, should not be here. We can all forgive a few bugs here and there. We all can, you have to. It's just the nature of, the difficulty of programming nowadays. Things are getting more and more sophisticated. That is just a fact. So we can always forgive a few bugs. But when they're gameplay crippling, mobs vanishing all the time, losing your gains, then it's people are going to go mental. They're going to tear BioWare apart for this. So yeah, if I don't know if it's an EA thing that's forcing them to get this game out quicker than they want to get it out. I think there's a likelihood that there's a good probability of truth in that. But if there isn't, and this is BioWare saying, no, we think we're ready to go. No, it needs another 2 or 3 months in the oven. Get these things ironed out. And then release it May time. But, I mean, they're not going to. They're going to still release it in 2 weeks' time, come what may. But what effect that may have if these aren't sorted, I don't know. I would be interested to hear from people who have been in the demo. Did you have any problems? Or was it plain sailing? If you did have any problems, what bugs did you personally experience? Or if you just want to give a general opinion of what you thought of your experience in the demo, I would be interested to hear as well, to try and get some idea of what the response to this game is so far. But yeah, Anthem, there is a good game to be had somewhere here. It's just not ready yet. But I do think there's a pretty decent game to be had here. I don't think it's mind-blowing. I don't think it's revolutionary. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire. But I think it could be a lot of fun. I do think it could be a lot of fun. But it just needs more time to cook. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.